So they're saying, hey, weigh in. Let us know your thoughts.
Comment.
Comment. Yes, exactly. It's anti-comment legislation asking for public comments. History is riddled with unexplained events. You can turn back now or learn the stuff they don't want you to know. Let me start with a question. Let's play a little Socratic method. Matt, Noel, everybody listening along at home, have you ever made a comment on social media that you later regretted?
All of them.
I try to avoid making any comments on social media anymore for that very reason. Because you can delete it, but if it was seen by enough people, it just is out there, and God forbid people screenshot it. But yeah, I really try not to. I try not to leave reviews for things. I try not to really engage directly, openly on the internet. I'll do like DMs with people, but not out there for the public.
Yeah, and I think maybe it may be different, at least in my regard. A lot of the great stories that I personally encounter from people who reach out that I have never met in life. And I do, if you're listening, reach out to me at Ben Bolin or at Ben Bolin HSW or something. Just want you to know I do vet you a little before I respond, because I want to make sure. And to Noel and Matt's points, statements in a public forum are different now than they were back in the Middle Ages or before the era of ubiquitous information. The statements you make now are not remembered by an eyewitness haltingly years later from the public square. They are printed, they are audible, they are visible, and they remain until you or someone else removes them. They bring great power, great danger. These new variables in the world in which we operate. And the government of China, famously pro-transparency, I can't finish it, famously pro-censorship, let's be honest. Government of China recently made waves when their Cyberspace Administration, or CAC for short in English, when the CAC said, you know what we're going to do? We're going to clamp down on dissent. And I'll tell you their rationale in a second. We're going to keep up with the times of the evolving, never-ending conversation online by requiring everybody to review every single comment on social media going forward before publishing. So this would mean that if, for instance, you are on Twitter, or you are on TikTok, you are on Here's Where It Gets Crazy, the Facebook page or whatever. If the PRC has its way, then what will occur, at least for audiences in China, if they're allowed to access those platforms, is that let's say Noel Brown makes a post about a hot take on Triumph the Insult comic dog, and Matt Frederick responds via any handle, via any internet pseudonym. Matt Frederick responds and says something like, well, you know what Triumph isn't afraid of, talking about Tiananmen Square. That comment will have to be reviewed before posting. And, Tiananmen Square, a little bit of a touchy subject nowadays with China. If that comment is allowed to go live, to publish, then the tricky thing is here, not only does Matt Frederick get in trouble, but the guy who posted the thing, even if it's unrelated, the Noel Brown in this example, also gets in trouble, also has consequences. And above Noel Brown, the company owning the platform upon which he is posted may also have consequences. You can read the official statement. If you read Chinese, you can easily read it. If you want, you can read a pretty good, I would say, English translation. But I learned about this when I saw the notice, the official notice on state media from the cyberspace admin of China. And this was funny to me. I don't know what you guys think. The notice I saw, which I've attached in our research doc, is not a hard declaration necessarily, but the headline is this: Notice of the Cyberspace Administration of China on public solicitation of comments on the provisions of the administration of Internet threat commenting services. So they're saying, hey, weigh in. Let us know your thoughts.
Comment.
Comment. Yes, exactly. It's anti-comment legislation asking for public comments. Does anybody else think that's weird? Does it seem
they're
kinda
just trying
like
to root out suppressive persons like on the jump?
SPs.
Yeah, no squirrels allowed.
Oh, geez. Check your thetans, everybody. Yeah, the idea is that they want to protect people. And, you know, the world knows that powerful forces want you to pay more attention to short form things, right? You can minimize the content or substance of a thought, and you can increase the advertising around it. That's why you don't see 20-minute videos on Instagram. You see 10-second clips, maybe like this. And, 2 posts up and 2 posts down, there's a sponsored post, there's an ad. That's the job of the thing. I'm not saying, I personally don't believe it's good for humanity overall, but that's good for those companies, and they want to convince you that's good for you. Do they care if it's actually good? Absolutely not. But they do know that the comment section can create very powerful conversation, even off the smallest little statement. So this idea is pretty crazy. The censorship regime is already highly automated in China, and you have probably, fellow conspiracy realists, listened to our earlier episode on how censorship of film works in the country of China. And this is not to dog on China. This is just something we all need to be aware of across the world, given China's status as a superpower. It can project force and rules to other countries, perhaps to your own country, in a way that you cannot yourself raise objection to, right? So just to give you this, the notice gave a rationale for the rules. They said these new rules are, quote, designed to safeguard national security and public interest and protect the legitimate rights and interests of citizens. How do you guys feel about that? Sound good?
Yeah, sounds great. I mean, above board, right? Protecting everybody.
Well,
because now we're all censoring ourselves and each other.
Your legitimate rights and interests. I thought that was good.
Yeah.
I just don't know why everyone's got to be so distrustful, I mean, surely they have our best interest at heart.
Yes. Yeah, surely.